Good evening. With time, money devalues, not people. Money loses its value. A person does not. While currency devaluation is a reality of life, people do not lose their worth in the eyes of God. So first, let us talk about currency devaluation. As time goes by, we say that things get more expensive, right? But in reality, it's not that things get more expensive, but that money loses its value. Therefore, we need a larger amount of money that is worth less to buy the same thing. So money is what loses its value. Because a dollar today is not the same as a dollar 20 years ago, or a dollar 40 years ago, or a dollar 20 years from now. It might be the same dollar, but its value fluctuates. The man that was entrusted with 1 talent and buried it in the ground was confronted by the master for not putting this money in the bank to gather at least the interest. It wasn't his money, it was the master's money, so why would he care? He never took ownership of the task. The servant just left the money sit underground, losing its value by the minute. I remember in my young years in Peru, we had a socialist president that left us with 8,000% inflation. Yes, you heard that right. He left us with an 8,000% inflation. It can happen, trust me, because it has. Every other month, we would use brand new bills because the lower bills would go out of commission because they were worth nothing. We were all poor millionaires. Seriously, we were all poor millionaires. A kilo of potatoes cost 1 million intis. That was the currency of the time. Eventually, we cut the 6 zeros, and 1 million intis became 1 sol, which is the current currency of Peru. So we were no longer poor millionaires when we cut the 6 numbers. We were just poor. The striking difference with the other 2 servants of the parable cannot be avoided, because the ones that received 2 and 5 talents respectively did something with the money. It wasn't the amount of money, it wasn't about equity, lest one of them would complain that he was giving only 2 and not 5 like the other. That's not fair. It wasn't about the amount of money at all. The lesson of the parable is about the amount of effort, the amount of care, the amount of ownership, the amount of dedication that these 2 servants put into multiplying what was entrusted to them. It was about ownership. They treated the money as their own, and so therefore they were responsible with it. In this sense, today's parable is similar to last week's, the one of the 10 virgins. Last week's parable of the 10 virgins, it wasn't at all about the amount of oil. It was about the amount of preparation that 5 of the virgins put an effort into, while the other 5 didn't. In today's parable, is not the amount of talents that matters, but because the money loses its value, it's about what the servants did with what was entrusted to them until the master will return in glory. St. Paul to the Thessalonians says, "For you, brothers and sisters, you are children of the light. You are not children of darkness. You are children of the day. Therefore, let us not sleep like the rest do, but let us stay alert." So the servants that did well with the master's fortune acted as children of the light. They stayed alert, just like the wise virgins of last weekend's gospel. Now, in the first reading of today, we hear about this woman of worth whose value is beyond pearls. Unlike money, people don't lose their value. Human life is valuable from the moment of conception to natural death. We never lose our value. When one finds a worthy wife, her value is beyond pearls. Her husband, entrusting his heart to her, has an unfailing price. She brings him good, not evil, all the days of her life. She obtains wool and flax and works with loving hands. She was part of the knitting club. She puts her hands to the distaff and her fingers ply the spindle. She reaches out her hands to the poor and extends her arms to the needy. This description of Proverbs 31 of the worthy wife reminds us of the value of the human person. This text that was written 2,500 years ago gives us this timeless truth. And it is not the amount of stuff that the woman of great worth made that made her valuable, but it was who she was. That's why she was valuable, a beloved daughter of God. And as if that was not enough, her character and dedication is what is remembered. Proverbs 31 reminds me of my mother, Mercedes. Today's readings are a challenge to all of us. They challenge us regarding the things that matter to us. What do we value? And how do we value people? At the end of the day, money loses its value, but people do not. It's the effort that we put into what God entrusted us with that counts. God gave us life. That's the greatest treasure. And we must make that treasure our own. And according to how we live that treasure and multiply that treasure, we will be judged upon the Master's return in glory. Amen.